Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how we take the assembled puzzle cube and lay out the drawings so that we can later dimension them. It's going to be epic. Stick around. Okay, we start with the model. First off, if we look over here at the data tree, you should have a puzzle cube assembled and you should have a rendering one. And then each piece, you should not have multiple assembled puzzle cubes. If you do, you need to get rid of them, so delete them. Make sure you don't delete the one that you did the animation in because you're going to need that. If you follow that animation tutorial, make sure you have a disassembly and an assembly video for when we use that in a drawing. Hop back over to the design. We're going to do create a drawing from design. We are going to choose a template, which in our case is going to be the 8.5 by 11, and we're going to click OK. And we are going to first make sure this is colored. We are going to set the scale across all of this is going to be 3/4 scale, so we have room for dimensions. We're going to place the front and we're going to click OK. We're then going to go project and project the top, the right, and an isometric. Now, the notes, we are going to need the notes in subsequent pages. If we delete them now, we'd have to rewrite them, so I wouldn't touch them. Now we're going to jump over and fill out the title block. So as always, make sure your caps lock is on. The code is IED for the class. So it's 200 for the puzzle cube, and then this is the first puzzle cube you've done, so it's 1. If you did a super cube, this is where you'd put in 2. And then it is a 00 because it's a cover page. And then rev is the year, and this is the first version. We are going to leave the weight out because we don't need the weight of the assembly yet. So, I'm sorry. And we have 3/4 scale. And we are done for now with page 1. So let's go next. Let's save it. We're going to call it Puzzle Cube Drawings Demo. So we're going to hop back over to the assembly, and then we're going to switch to animation. And the thing we want to make sure in animation is when it says top, front, right, that we have a view where we can see each piece clearly. They're not over the top of each other. And if not, if they were, we could go down here and hit Edit Action and move them. That way, when we bring it into the drawing, this is the view we're going to get. So we're going to go animation, or the drawing from animation. We are now going to create, we're going to put it on that demo drawing, and we're going to click OK. And we are then going to place that there. Now, I'm going to see if mine can get to 3:1 or 3/4 scale. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. I don't like that. I'm going to stick with half scale for this layout. So then we click OK. Oops, I should have turned on color before I clicked OK. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to name our sheets. So we're going to call this sheet by double-clicking on it Animation. Hopefully I spelled that right. Nope, that doesn't look right. I don't think there's an extra A. Animation. There we go. And we're going to label the first sheet, which we can do another way by right-clicking and saying rename. I am just, oops, rename. And I'm going to call it Puzzle Cube. Okay. Now I have this sheet number 2, which I actually don't need, so I'm just going to hit delete. So now I'm going to jump back over here. I'm going to go back into design, and then I'm going to create a drawing from design. And it is going to go onto this, but now we're going to put it on the animation sheet. I'm a horrible speller if I spelled that wrong. So then we can choose the northwest quadrant, which is the same as the front right top, and we can place an assembled cube in color here. So we have the disassembly and the assembly all visible. Now I got to come down here and change this number to drawing number 1. Finish. I don't need that notes on this one either. We'll need it on the next one. Now we're going to go table, and we are going to insert a parts list. And what that part, we got to select, we have to choose which of these two views we want to put the parts list on. We want to do it on the assembly, or I'm sorry, on the animation. And then I'm going to anchor it in this bottom right-hand corner. Obviously, it overlays over the top of this. We're going to clean that up. So the first thing we're going to do, notice I have some materials wrong. To clean that up, oops, I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to take out the description and the materials because I'm going to put a materials on each sheet, and I'm going to go from up to down. So it puts the title on the top. And then I don't like my titles are really long, so they're kind of crammed in there. It's cutting my name in half. So I'm going to then come over here and pull this out, and then pull this one over and pull this one over. And you'll notice that it then reduced the parts list. So now it's a little bit tricky to get that back on there. If you zoom, 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 you can do it. It's not snapping there, but that should be good enough. You're not going to be able to tell on a printed page that's not perfectly lined up. Now, the only thing we have to clean up is these numbers can't cross like they are here. You cannot make the number cross the part, and you also don't ever want to make it perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. It needs to be at some odd angle is the way you got to do it. So I'm cleaning these up a little bit. Put the 5 over here and then bring this to this side. Now I'll maybe bring the 1 up to there so it's a little clearer. Now it clearly shows each piece and its numbers. Obviously it's color coordinated, but if you dealt with somebody who's colorblind, they would still be able to tell which color each one would be. So our parts list page is now done. We should hit save so we don't lose anything. So now we're going to go back to the model, and we are going to choose, I would just start at the top, the black piece, create a drawing. So I right-clicked on the black piece, create a drawing, and then we are going into this. It will be a new sheet. We click OK. And here is our front view. Now, black is always, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the 3/4 scale. Black is always challenging because I can't really see any of the other lines. So I'm just going to put it down here for now and click OK. You'll notice that some hidden lines hit on the back side. So this is the front. If I roll it towards me, one face, then I will have a good front view and there won't be any hidden lines. So I'm going to double click on this and switch it from front to top. Now we have no hidden lines. And now we can go project up to the right at an ISO. And unfortunately, when we turn on the black, the ISO kind of doesn't really clearly show what we're doing. But we now have our page laid out appropriately with plenty of space to add dimensions. Later, there'll be another video on that. We're going to change this to 2. Oops. Helps if I hit enter. Now, I'm going to jump back over to the first model, and I'm going to hit Control Copy, so Control C on my keyboard. And then I'm going to come over here and hit Control Paste. Now, it wants me to move it, but I want it to be right there, so I could just kind of quickly move it and come back. Now we can edit this. This is made out of hardwood, and the coating is Sharpie, and it's black. So when you make it, you color it black, as you guys all did in class when we glued them together. So we hit close. We had a little problem that it returned down, so I'm going to pull that off. So this one is done. I would label this the black piece. And then I would go back, and I find it logical just to march right down, create a drawing here. Click OK, and that's a perfectly acceptable front view. So let's first turn this to 3 to 4. Let's place it. Click OK. We can click here right now and hit Control V and place that there and click OK, and then project. This is all just going to be repetitive going along. double click to turn on the color, close, double click down here, and hardwood. Now if I was smart, Sharpie blue, I would then click close and I would hit Control C to copy it again. So now I only have to change the color. And this one would become the blue piece. And back to the model, we're going to go down to the white, which in our cases we'll call raw because we don't put a color on it. Now, I think the top, that's going to be the view I want, but not in this, actually not the top. We're going to do the bottom. So that's the view I want, but not in that orientation. So once again, I'm going to change this to 3 to 4. And I'm going to place it here and go OK. Now I'm going to use rotate to grab this piece and just pick a transition point, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. There we go. Now I have a good view. And why did I rotate it? I rotated it because in this view, when I project the top and the right and an ISO, I will only end up with one hidden line on the right side view. If I had done it the other way, you would have ended up with hidden lines on both the top and the right. I can come over here and hit Control V to paste. And then I can take out the blue, the coating, and we're going to leave this raw. There we go. And we'll hop back over and do the last two quickly. Once again, not the best front view, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to make it a 3:3. I am going to rotate this one as well. And then I will project up to the right and into an ISO. And then, of course, turn on the ISO. Come over here, paste again, double click. Type in green. Pull this down so we get the coating over there. Hit save. And this one should be the green piece. I think I forgot the first one. Or the white one, I would have put raw or white piece. And then our last one would be to jump over, and I believe it's the red piece. I'm actually going to use that front view. This one's a challenging one because there's a lot of possible front views. But I think this will produce a few hidden lines, but not a ton. It gives a clear view in the ISO, which is what I'm going for. Okay. This one should show hidden lines. This one won't have any hidden lines. We can paste this here. We can click on OK, and we can change blue to red and close. And we now, oh, and I forgot to update these. These should have been coming along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should be page or drawing number 6. Finish. This one should be drawing number 5. Obviously, drawing number 4. And drawing number 3. And because I started with 2, I'm guessing that this one is done correctly. So we now have a fully complete drawing ready to move into the dimensioning phase. So we have all 6 sheets laid out. If you're in my class and you're doing a super cube, you would need to do another drawing packet but it would have the assembled supercube, the partsless supercube, and the only other piece you needed to make the supercube. So you don't have to redo the 4 pieces that are shared between the regular cube and the supercube. That's all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll catch you in the next one.